Hello everyone! Today, I invite you on a journey back in time to take a look at the Brave Dwarves game series, which history dates back to 2001. Brave Dwarves, released by Game Over Games, transports us to a two-dimensional world of mines, caves, and dungeon corridors. Our guides on this adventure are two fearless dwarven warriors who undertake a mission to save their kingdom from dark forces. The graphics, although extremely modest, are pleasantly eye-catching, and after all, one cannot expect much from such a minor title, not a AAA game. The gameplay of Brave Dwarves is simple. As we traverse various environments, from dark caves and mines to dungeon corridors, we fight hordes of monsters. Initially, we choose whether we want to play as a warrior or a mage. This choice is quite important, as it influences the nature of gameplay. Our main goal is to collect a certain number of special gems scattered around the level. Once we collect them all, the gates open, and we can move on to the next level. The mage prefers range combat by casting various spells at enemies, while the warrior has weapons mainly for melee combat. The game is divided into 5 spheres, each with a different guiding visual and melodic theme. Each sphere consists of 10 levels, ended with a boss fight. During the course of the game, we gain access to new spells and weapons, depending on which dwarf we play as. Each weapon, apart from the basic one, has a limited number of uses, which we restore by collecting crystals, which are divided into different colors corresponding to the elements on which the spells and weapons are based. For example, fireballs restore red crystals. Although the game offers a lot of satisfaction, it is not without flaws. Character control is not always responsive, the worst is precise jumping. In addition, despite the variety of levels, the gameplay itself may turn out to be monotonous and too easy, which may repel some players. Despite these imperfections, Brave Dwarves still has a lot to offer. It's a unique title that attracts with its simplicity and enjoyable gameplay for most of the time. The next installment of the Brave Dwarves series, Brave Dwarves 2, was released by Game Over Games in 2002, introducing many new features and improvements compared to its predecessor. As before, we control 2 characters, fearless dwarves who this time have to face new dark forces threatening their kingdom. In this part of the game, the creators decided to introduce a greater variety of environments. In addition to mines, we will travel to forests across mountain peaks and to dark castles. Brave Dwarves 2 is characterized by completely new detailed graphics, now striking more into heavy fantasy themes, as well as a completely different system of acquiring weapons. From now on, we can buy them in shops scattered around the board. They also offer something for gamblers. You can also play roulette in them. We can buy a limited amount of weapons and ammunition for them, so we have to use them carefully until we replenish them in the store. We earn currency by collecting coins and other valuables scattered across the boards. The levels themselves have also changed. There are fewer of them, but they are much larger. Their main goal is to find all the keys, the equivalent of gems from the previous part, which will open the doors to the boss room. Only after defeating him, we finish the level. In 2003, a gold version of Brave Dwarves 2 was released. The main additions were new winter-themed levels, as well as several new enemies. Despite these advantages, Brave Dwarves 2 is not without flaws. The character control may still be inconvenient, but still significantly improved compared to the previous part. Some players may also find the game a bit monotonous. Some may also not like the drastically different atmosphere. Despite these shortcomings, Brave Dwarves 2 is a solid continuation that develops the ideas of the first game, offering players more diversity. In 2004, Brave Dwarves 2 Deluxe hit the market. This edition brought many new levels and enemies to the game. Changes also occurred in the gameplay mechanics. Now you can change characters in the shop, adding more diversity to the gameplay. The next installment in the Brave Dwarves series, Brave Dwarves Back for Treasures, released in 2004, returns to the roots of the series, closely echoing the original 2001 game, both in terms of mechanics and aesthetics. The game is stylized enough to be aesthetically pleasing with decent animations for attacks and bosses. As before, we guide a pair of courageous dwarves, but this time our mission is to recover treasures that have been stolen from our kingdom by ominous forces. The old proven scheme of acquiring new weapons is back, with weapons picked up during level traversal and charging them by collecting corresponding crystals. The shops have been eliminated, making the gameplay structure resemble the first part of the series. The keys have remained, and each sphere and biome has 2 bosses every 10 levels, totaling a whopping 100. despite its references to the original, Brave Dwarves, Back for Treasures is not devoid of improvements. The graphics are more detailed and animations are smoother. However, like every game, Brave Dwarves, Back for Treasures is not without flaws. Some gameplay elements may be monotonous, the difficulty level is uneven, and some may be bothered by the return to a more fairy tale / cartoonish graphical style. Despite these shortcomings, Brave Dwarves Back for Treasures is a solid continuation of the series, which returns to tried and true formulas, while introducing a few improvements. It's a game worth noting, especially for fans of the first installment of the series. In 2009, a smartphone port was released, but apart from being adapted to mobile devices, it does not differ in any other way. The next installment in the Brave Dwarves series, Brave Dwarves Creeping Shadows, released in 2006, represents another step forward for the series, transitioning the game into the third dimension. The production was handled by the same studio, Game Over Games, but the release was managed by Nival Interactive, known for producing games such as Heroes of Might and Magic V. The game's new appearance is a significant departure from how these games used to look. It offers 3D graphics, which, while passable, do not compare to some other games from this period. However, they are sufficiently adequate not to be overly distracting during gameplay. Brave Dwarves Creeping Shadows also introduced a new method of storytelling by adding cutscenes, which lend depth to the narrative. Furthermore, the division into a mage and a warrior remains, but now the other one always accompanies us, and we can switch which dwarf we control at any time, although sometimes they must separate to overcome certain obstacles. This part of the game also introduced mini-games, serving as a pleasant addition to the main gameplay. The approach to weapons remained the same as in the original. We find them scattered around the map. Simple puzzles of the find and pull the lever type were also introduced. The dwarves gained a new ability to move around, thanks to the possibility of grabbing onto the edges of the terrain. Although Brave Dwarves Creeping Shadows introduces several new elements, it is not an exceptional game. It is passable, but it does not exceed the boundaries of mediocrity. It feels as though it was released a few years too late. And that wraps up the last installment in the series. Thank you for joining me on this journey through the Brave Dwarves series. I hope you enjoyed this review and perhaps it even inspired you to try out one of these games. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to give a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel so you don't miss out on future videos. Thanks for watching and see you in the next video.